Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a very special guest amongst us. We have Uncle Paolienlal, who was KWSD chairman and secretary for a term each and a total of 4 years. He was also one of the KSO and Kuki Inpi leaders. Presently, he is the additional director at Lok Sabha Parliament. Uncle, we're very glad to have you here on BNN News.
I'm very glad to be on BNN News as well.
Thank you. Let's start with the questions. The first question is, did you have any childhood dreams?
Well, yes, as a child, we used to have this forest, and some of our lesser privileged villages, they're my aunts and uncles, because of the lack of livelihood, they used to steal firewood from our forest. And one of those days, I went to confront one of my aunties and told her that you should not be stealing firewood from the forest. And the reply that she gave me on that day sort of touched me later on. What she said was, where else would I find my livelihood? I collect these firewoods, sell them, and buy rice and supplies for my family. You are so privileged, you don't need to cut firewood. Why are you stopping me? So I was taken aback, because normally if a thief is reproached, they should be either apologetic or running away or trying to hide. But the kind of response she gave me kept me thinking for a long time after that. And one of my childhood dreams that arose from that incident was that I would like to eliminate theft from our community, from the world. When people have enough, they will not resort to such kind of unethical, unmoral activities of stealing things that belong to others. So I kind of thought it is unfair that some people should be so poor that they need to steal from others. And I imagine what the world would be like if no one needs to steal to be alive, to take care of their family. So in a very vague manner, I used to dream of doing something where nobody needs to steal. So you can call that a childhood dream.
That's a really nice childhood dream. Did you have any motto or philosophy of life?
Well, as I grew up, and you mentioned that I served in the worship service as well. I served in various positions of responsibility in society as well. And out of all that experience, what I realize is, in life, what really matters, what you are to live for, what your motto should be, is what Jesus taught us: love. Because if you really love, in Corinthians somewhere, love is defined: slow to anger, doesn't envy, all those definitions. If we adopt that as a life principle, I think it minimizes disappointments in life. Because if somebody speaks against you, or if somebody does something wrong to you, if you have a forgiving heart, if you try to understand what they're going through, or if somebody is unpolite to you, rude to you, there must be some reason. you try to figure that out with love, then you can minimize disappointments in your life. And minimizing disappointments is a healthy way to live. That is what I live with.
So, can you tell us about your student life in both high school and college?
In high school I was an introvert, studious, not to boast, but I was always in the top 3 of my class. At those days, teachers still used to beat us for not completing our homework or being shabbily dressed. Nowadays, you guys are lucky. Teachers just talk to you, they don't beat you. Those days, if we fail to, or if we miss doing one homework, we were made to stand up on a bench. Put our hands to our ears, and cruel teachers would make us stand with only one leg, lifting the other. So, because of that fear, partly because of that fear and partly because I want to learn my lessons well, I was studious. I was an introvert, didn't have much friends, but the few friends that I have, like your dad, they lasted me a lifetime. I wasn't the popular, saying hello, hi to everyone type of guy. I was a complete introvert, but 3 or 4 friends that I have, it really stood by me at all times. Even in college, that was what I was.
Uncle, so what were your struggles in your UPSC exams and interviews?
UPSC, well, I went for the UPSC exams about 4 or 5 times. My main struggle was, I was lacking in struggle. If you can understand that. Maybe a little bit of overconfidence and maybe a little bit of giving too much time to having fun with friends. Because I remember in JNU, we were in the hostel. We have cleared the prelims and the mains examinations were within 2 months of the declaration of the prelims. But till late night we used to play table tennis, and during the day we used to have one carom board in a room. A lot of friends used to come over. I think I tried to make up being the introvert studious boy when I was in the university by bringing in a lot of friends and spending good times together. So struggling for the UPSC examination was what I lacked. So trying to struggle was my struggle.
So as we are witnesses to your success story, what are some of the advices that you'd like to give to the student viewers?
Success story. What success have I achieved? I really don't know. If you call whatever I have success, then I would see it differently. Life is a journey. There is no ultimate success. We have to try and enjoy the journey and to make the journey meaningful, right? Because it's something like the journey should be what makes your life, not a destination, not something that you should achieve, which you would count as success. How well you fare through the journey and how happy you are, how loving you are, how appreciated you are by friends and family, that I think should be treated as success, not achieving something. And so for students of your generation, like I said earlier, understand love and adopt that as your principle, your motto in life, and devote yourself honestly to whatever you do or whatever you want to do. Sincerity of purpose and good intentions. If you have those two things, I think life will treat you well. And for students still studying, there is a little bit of technique that I have discovered during my student years, which is when you try and understand a subject or a particular topic of a subject that you study. Imagine that you're going to be teaching a class full of intelligent, sharp students who would raise many questions on that topic, and that prepare yourself to handle all the questions that can come from a room full of students. Try and master the topic so well that you can face any questions that are coming from your imaginary students. If you prepare on a particular topic to be teaching rather than writing exams, then you sort of really understand this subject, and it remains in your memory for a longer time, and that over time builds the base of your knowledge. So that is a small technique that I have discovered useful.
Thank you, Uncle, for that there. Uncle, your wife, Auntie Lam Kulhing, was a sensational singer of her community. How did you feel getting married to her? Do you feel overshadowed by her stardom, or do you feel exhilarated by it?
Yeah, she's as you rightly put it, a sensational singer, and more so to me. I consider myself her first fan, number one fan. And during my university days, I was given a scholarship by the Union Grants Commission that looks after students' welfare, universities' welfare. So, because I loved her voice so much, I bought a huge system, a music system. And the only songs that I used to play were her songs. And getting married to her is, a dream come true, because first I was her fan, and now she's my wife. Getting overshadowed by her, not really, because from the day we were married, like it is ordained, we are one from that day. Her fame is also my fame. So, what was the last part of the question?
Or do you feel exhilarated?
Yeah, I'm happy. Because recently I went home to meet people, try and establish a relationship with people back home. The good thing about marrying your auntie is people who have never heard of me and who have never seen me before also suddenly come closer or become a close friend or a close associate when people tell them that he is the husband of Uncle Haokip. So, it's a great, a fun experience.
Yeah. So, what motivated you to sacrifice your prestigious job and contest in the elections?
That will be a long one, because it is not just yesterday that I have decided, I have thought about contesting the elections. The state of administration that we have in Manipur and the kind of economy that our people, especially those in the hill areas, have been undergoing for the past more than 5 decades since Manipur became a state. We are all, in a way, victims of the maladministration or the shortcomings in governance that today we have to come and settle down here in Delhi to work a job. It is because of the deficiencies of administration and governance in our state that many students have to come and pursue their courses in several streams in faraway Delhi or Mumbai or Calcutta. If the governance of the land were, to function as it should function, 50 years is a long time. At least today, we should have facilities for education in all streams within the state, and students should not need to, venture as far as Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta to pursue whatever they want to pursue in their higher studies. And also, this many people from our state should not be working outside the state. I mean, if governance within the land can provide employment to the people, nobody would like to move out somewhere, leave their family and their childhood memories behind, live in a faraway place. Well, visiting places is good, but being forced to or having no option other than staying away from your land for long stretches to earn a livelihood outside of your state, I don't think anybody would, given a choice, choose that. And having worked in Parliament for the first 17 years, we assist the parliamentary committees. There are more than 17 departmental related standing committees and 3 financial committees. Presently, I'm with the foremost financial committee, that is the Public Accounts Committee. And what we do is we get help from the Controller and Auditor General, who audits all the ministries of all the central government ministries, departments and agencies. And the purpose of audit is to ensure that budgetary allocations are utilized as per it is allocated by Parliament. Now, there can be many systemic faults, there can be personnel failures and all that. What we mostly look closely are the system failures. If there is system failure, you may allocate a certain amount of funds for particular developmental activity. But if supposing the delay is not checked, we have financial years, allocations are for a particular financial year. If transferring of funds from the center to the states is not timely, the implementation of developmental projects can be delayed. And if that is delayed, the remainder of the budget can lapse. And it would need a new entire process of reallocation, right? So I find that the states need to be very efficient in getting the funds and implementing the schemes in a timely manner, so that they can draw all the allocations that were given to the state. Resources are limited and allocations are done based on the population of the various states that we have. Now, if a particular state is unable to draw whatever little allocation it has given during a particular year, it is a loss to that state and the people of that state. And some states, including our home state Manipur, has a lot to improve on timely utilization of funds and accountable utilization of funds, efficient utilization of funds. There's a difference between effective utilization and efficient utilization. Efficiency means doing much more work with the same set of resources. Effective means timely and with outcomes. So, implementation of development schemes that affect the people at large must be both effective as well as efficient. And there's like I said, a lot of room for improvement in our state. And I feel with the exposure that I have, I can help our state improve in the systems so that people at large get their due share of resources. And like I say, resources are not unlimited. We have to be efficient in utilizing the resources so that we drive maximum gain out of the limited resources that we are allocated. So that is my challenge. If I work here in the Parliament of India, I can take care of your cousins, my sons, better might be. But just taking care of my family is also good. It is a primary responsibility of parents. But I felt the challenge to take care of the deficiencies in our system so that a whole lot of kids like you and your cousins here can benefit from it, get good education in the land that they live in, get good nutrition, get good health care, and that they don't envy anybody else in the world. Living in their own homeland, that is what inspires me.
Uncle, that's very inspirational.
Thank you.
What will be the first thing you would like to do if you are elected?
Well, if I am elected, the first thing I have in mind is I have promised to the voters of Saikot Constituency. So the first thing I'll do is do something that the present representatives don't do. That is, live amongst the constituents, within the constituency. Be available to meet them anytime they need to meet me. Not hide away somewhere in Imphal with security cover and your constituents coming and trying to meet you, your security guys stopping them. All that is something we don't need. So I intend to live within the constituency, meet the people, and discuss their problems and try and find solutions within the limitations of resources that I mentioned. So let us make politics and governance consultative and involving the people, because ultimately representatives are not bigger than the people that they represent. They are the agency or someone entrusted by the people to look after their interest. They are not elected to be kings. So power back to the people, and representatives should serve the people.
Yes. What are the values you want your children to exhibit in their lives?
Well, I said earlier, the motto or the philosophy of life that I have is love. Love whatever you do. Love the people around. And by love, it means sincerity, patience, consistency, commitment. I could not recall the exact chapter and verse in Corinthians. There is a very nice definition that the Apostle Paul had given of love. I like that to my kids, your friends also. Once you have love, love is not only about people, it is about your responsibility. If you're a student, you should love your studies, you should love gaining knowledge. If you're a watchman, you should love protecting people or properties. It is about dedication, sincerity, and commitment, with patience, understanding. So if my children and the next generation, including you and your sisters, your brothers, if you can imbibe the spirit of love as your motto of life, as philosophy, I'm sure you will not be disappointed.
That's really nice about you, Uncle. Uncle, so my final question is, what kind of legacy do you desire to leave behind?
Legacy. Legacy is for legends. I'm not legend material, but if I were given a chance to leave behind a legacy of sorts, over big or small, it would be that serving others gives you the greatest happiness. Being able to help somebody or feed somebody by sacrificing what you ought to eat then comes the real joy inside. People might not see it, but real joy is there. It is not in acquiring wealth. It is in giving out wealth. It is in giving out help. It is in giving out love. That ultimate happiness flows into your heart. And that is something nothing else can give. Okay, you can be happy on your birthday. You can be happy on your achievement of something in a competition. Those happiness don't last. They're momentary. The kind of happiness that we're talking about, that comes out of giving, that comes out of sacrificing for others. That is what your generation call dough.
Thank you so much, Uncle, for your time and all these values that you imparted on us. And may God bless you in your further ventures.
Okay, thank you, Vanin. And before we end, I'd like to say a few words of appreciation for you and your endeavors in having this private channel of sorts, VNN channel. I mean, at your age, the kind of professionalism that you display is amazing. I'm really proud of you. And coincidentally, after my 12th class, my dream was to pursue a degree in law and thereafter a degree in mass communication and work in the media. And with the kind of talent that is visible in you, I think you can go a long way in the media. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Uncle.
Thank you.
Thank you.